The football world has once again been set ablaze with stories that feel larger than life. Tales of redemption, ambition, emotion, and legacy. From Jurgen Klopp's rumored homecoming to Liverpool, to Messi's quiet reflection on the twilight of his career, to Saudi Arabia's futuristic leap toward the 2034 World Cup, and even Dani Alves finding solace and faith after the storm, this week's football headlines could fill an entire movie. Each story feels like a different chapter in the never-ending drama that is the beautiful game. Saudi Arabia's bold vision for the 2034 World Cup seems almost impossible to believe. The centerpiece, the NEOM Stadium, will rise 350 meters into the sky, perched atop a skyscraper, redefining what a football arena can be. This isn't some artistic render destined to fade into obscurity. Construction is already underway. With a planned capacity of 46,000 fans, the stadium will be part of The Line, a futuristic megacity built in the desert, running entirely on renewable energy. Fans won't walk through turnstiles. They'll be transported by autonomous capsules, experiencing football in an augmented reality-infused atmosphere powered by wind and sun. Saudi Arabia wants to tell the world that football's future belongs to them, and the NEOM Stadium might just be the most audacious declaration of intent ever made in sports architecture. If completed as promised, it won't just host matches. It will host moments that define generations. Meanwhile, Lionel Messi, the man who's seen and conquered everything, finds himself at a crossroads. In a candid interview with NBC News, Messi admitted that the thought of playing in the 2026 World Cup still burns in him, though he will only decide after assessing his physical condition. He has already given Argentina its greatest glory in 2022, but the thought of defending that crown still lingers in his heart. The 2026 World Cup, spread across the USA, Canada, and Mexico, could very well mark the last dance for the Argentine legend. Argentina is already qualified, and the entire footballing world is waiting to see if Messi, now more philosopher than player, will grant us one final performance on the grandest stage. His words, calm but full of conviction, remind us that even the greatest have to listen to their bodies, not just their dreams. At Anfield, the echoes of Jurgen Klopp's voice may soon be heard again. Liverpool's current coach, Arne Slot, is struggling to ignite the spark Klopp once set ablaze. After 4 straight defeats, including a painful 2-3 loss to Brentford, Liverpool has fallen to 6th in the Premier League, and patience among the owners is wearing thin. Over $480 million was spent in the summer, yet the returns have been dismal. Now, whispers are growing louder. Klopp's name keeps circulating inside the club's corridors. Reports claim that even the German himself has not ruled out a sensational return, calling it theoretically possible. Klopp's departure in 2024 was emotional. He had delivered every major trophy imaginable, leaving behind a legacy of passion, humor, and belief. But football has a strange way of bringing stories full circle. If Slot fails to steady the ship, the call for Klopp's return could transform from fantasy to reality, reigniting the Anfield roar that once echoed across Europe. And while Klopp's possible comeback might steal headlines, Dani Alves' story steals hearts. The former Barcelona and PSG star, once one of the most flamboyant right-backs in football, has taken a turn that few could have predicted. After spending over a year behind bars and later being acquitted in a sexual assault case, Alves has devoted himself completely to faith. At 42, he now preaches regularly at the Alm Evangelical Church in Girona, speaking about redemption, belief, and transformation. "You have to believe in God. I am proof of that," he said recently, his voice breaking with emotion. On social media, he calls himself a disciple of Jesus Christ, sharing verses and reflections instead of celebrations and trophies. For a man who once defined success by medals and applause, Alves now measures victory in peace and purpose. It's a reminder that even the brightest stars can fall and rise again in a different light. In Italy, Juventus is undergoing yet another transformation. After dismissing Igor Tudor following a winless streak, the Turin Giants have reached an agreement with Luciano Spalletti, the man who once led Italy's national team. The deal, extending to 2026 with a Champions League qualification clause, signals Juve's intent to rise from mediocrity. Spalletti, dismissed after a painful defeat to Norway, sees this as redemption, a chance to rebuild both his reputation and Juventus's identity. With Giorgio Chiellini reportedly instrumental in bringing him in, optimism is cautiously returning to Turin. The first training session is scheduled for Friday, and all eyes are on how quickly Spalletti can breathe life back into a team that has forgotten its own glory. Elsewhere in Scotland, Celtic are facing a crossroads of their own. After Brendan Rodgers' resignation, the club's board is reportedly considering a reunion with Ange Postecoglou, the man who led them to 5 trophies before departing for Tottenham. However, despite his deep bond with Celtic, sources close to him say he's reluctant to return. Postecoglou has never been one to look back, and his brief, controversial stint at Nottingham Forest, the shortest in Premier League history, might have closed the door for good. Still, Celtic's faith in him hasn't faded, and the coming days will show whether nostalgia or pragmatism will guide their decision. But the most emotional story of all perhaps belongs to Real Madrid, where the golden boy Vinicius Jr. finds himself in turmoil. After being substituted in a crucial El Clasico against Barcelona, Vinny's anger exploded. "Me, coach? Always me," he shouted before storming off to the locker room. That moment, raw and human, marked the breaking point between him and coach Xabi Alonso. Their relationship, once built on mutual admiration, now lies in ruins. Reports claim they no longer speak, and Vinny feels stripped of trust and status. Real Madrid's management, however, has sided firmly with Alonso, signaling that no player, no matter how gifted, is bigger than the team. With his contract running until 2027, Vinicius faces a difficult choice. PSG, Manchester City, and Chelsea are all watching, waiting for the cracks in Madrid's armor to widen. Even Saudi clubs with offers north of $300 million are circling. For a player earning over $25 million a year, the options are limited, but the tension is very real. Real Madrid may soon have to choose between their discipline and their superstar, and whichever choice they make could define their future. Football, as always, mirrors life: triumph, loss, faith, rebellion, and rebirth. From Messi's quiet uncertainty to Klopp's possible resurrection, from Dani Alves' redemption to Vinicius' frustration, every story this week feels connected by one thread: the human side of the game. Behind every goal and every trophy lies a person chasing meaning, fighting battles we don't always see. So, what do you think, football fans? Should Klopp make his legendary return to Liverpool? Will Messi risk it all for one last World Cup? And could Vinicius truly walk away from Real Madrid? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's get this debate going. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more football stories that go beyond the headlines. Stories that show the soul behind the sport we love.